Hey, nerds! It's Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Geeks of Cascadia. Exclusive tabletop game podcast for the Pacific Northwest. All levels of gamers. Analog gaming. Tabletop news. Dungeons and Dragons and magic. Stupid, mindless banter.
There will definitely be some. That's probably our best. That's our best feature.
Hey geeks, Blue Samurai here. I am with
Rebeculus.
And I am still Paul.
and it is episode 51.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Yes.
What happened at 50? Did we do that?
We did do 50.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
stop
we did
drinking.
that thing we did last time. Or no, this is the one we did this time. Never mind. I got confused about because we recorded last week as well,
yes.
and we don't normally record 2 weeks in a row.
And we have a treat for you. We completed Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and we did a review. We did 2 reviews: a players only version and a DM's version. So the first one's going to be spoiler free, and that is today's episode.
Dun dun.
Yes.
So cool.
So if you're a player or DM, listen to this review we got going on, because it'd be like a perspective of your character who's in Waterdeep and you're about ready to start this adventure. In fact, if you're a DM out there, have them listen to this episode. It'd be great.
Yeah, it's like an audio handbook for stuff you need to know.
Yeah, exactly. That way you don't have to read the
Like a Cliff Notes.
what's that thing?
But
The
for-
Burrito?
Waterdeep enchilada or enchilada or echidna. I don't know because I can't pronounce
Waterdeep
it.
Echidna.
But it's in the back of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign. It's pretty awesome. But
Is that their city mascot? The
It is-
Waterdeep Echidna?
yeah,
That's
what
right,
it
the
is.
fighting
You
echidnas.
didn't know that? Yeah. So what else we got going on?
Stuff.
There just
Junk?
might be some games or conventions.
Yeah, it could
stuff
be.
like that. We usually talk about stuff like that.
We do.
Should we do that now?
You should
We
do the
should.
conventions first so I can
Yes.
Okay, I'll-
continue my
we'll let
research,
Rebecca
my
do her
in-depth research.
Well, I do the conventions. We have coming up next month, which is July, Oregon Trail Days.
All right.
I wasn't sure what that was. They go a couple different ways.
I'm thinking Western, just like a caravan of covered wagons.
I
I
was
remember
thinking
the game Oregon
maybe
Trail,
people sitting
remember
at their Vic 20s.
that? Yeah.
That's what it is.
Killing their families.
Getting dysentery, things like that.
Was there a cannibalism option in that?
I don't know. I never actually had it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I still want to play it. Someone write me where I can find a way to play that. Anyway, it's July. It is not that. It is more about the Oregon Trail for people traveling to this area of the world. It is in Tenino, Washington, July 27th and 28th.
Isn't it Tanino?
Is it Tenino? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're not from around here,
Yeah.
Rebeculous.
There are plenty of people who are listening to us who are not from around here.
And things
So
That's true.
for you people,
Things we have-
Tanino.
In
Oh, yes.
fact, there's one person from, what do we say? Where was it from? Everybody remember?
Rapid City? Grand Rapids?
Cedar Falls.
Iowa.
So
was
whoever
close.
you are,
Yes, you are our new
thank
favorite.
you.
Send us a message on
We love you.
Facebook.
Yes.
Let us know who you are.
Could you please rate us?
Yes.
Even if you don't like it. Well,
Raid us?
Rate.
Rate.
Oh.
Rate.
Rate.
Okay.
Make sure you rate us. I'm pretty sure that's what I said. You must like us because you listened to us 20 times. So I'm assuming, unless you're into sadomasochism and you just hate.
Which is whatever you do.
You punish you.
Yeah,
That is
you
yours.
do
We're
you.
not
If-
judging at all.
If you choose to punish yourself by listening to our podcast, please continue.
Yes. But at least, please, put 5 stars, make some comments on whatever.
Apple Podcasts,
Give us a call.
Stitcher.
Give us a
Yeah.
call when we're live on air.
Yeah. Or email us at geeksofcascadia@gmail.com or Facebook us at Geeks of Cascadia or Twitter, Geeks of Cascadia. Sorry, Paul, I interrupted you, but
That's
I
okay.
thought we got to give a shout out to someone who's
we
like,
definitely
That's right.
do.
We
listening
did
to us.
interrupt Paul.
And I bet he really wants to know what's going on, or she wants to know what's going on in Tenino.
Tanino.
At Oregon Trail Days, things you will find are Black Powder Shoot and Pioneer Rendezvous, Rock and Gem Show, 4 Square Mile Music Festival with Adam Craig. There's a parade, food vendors, craft vendors, Tenino Farmers Market, Pioneer Village with free family activities at the Tenino Depot Museum, free music on the quarry stage, swimming in the quarry pool,
Ooh.
and a kids zone with bounce houses, barrel car ride, and much more.
Yeah.
Was that
yes.
a rockin' gem show?
It's a rock. It's not a rock and gem show. It's a rock and gem show because the music is
Yeah.
crazy rocking.
Heck yeah.
We also have my hands are gone. Go Play Northwest, which is in Seattle. That is July 5th through 7th. Go Play Northwest is an annual RPG weekend where people come together and play indie role-playing, story, board card, and insert buzzword here games. Meet new people, play new games. Sounds like fun?
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. There's bad news, sorry, about GearCon in Portland.
Yes.
The steampunk thing?
Yeah.
Canceled.
What?
Yep.
Not enough coal?
Not enough coal. couldn't make the steam.
That's
Keep
right.
the con going. That's gone.
I think we just lost our listener in Iowa.
Yeah, probably.
And in Everett, July 12th through 14th is KobeCon. Looks like there's not much on their website, some sort of anime thing,
Oh, good Lord.
which sounds great. It's at the Everett Mall, which is fascinating to me.
You peering over and looking at that picture?
I am looking at that picture.
Yes.
Buxom
That's-
little
That's
anime
a weird
Sure.
picture.
woman
Yeah,
thing.
she's definitely
fox
some sort of anime.
Thing.
Yep.
They have nothing on their website for what's going on.
It's okay, because
Boobs.
Rebeculous will be there
She
as
will be
our
there.
roving
Roving
reporter.
reporter.
Where is this at again?
It's at Everett Mall.
Oh.
Rebeculous will be standing at,
Oh, I can't go to Everett. I'm afraid of Everett.
the,
Scary things happen
the
there.
customer
Don't you
service
live there?
center in Everett Mall.
TweakerCon.
I
What?
feel like you live right nearby there.
I do, but I work on the weekends.
Maybe you should arrange
You
to
have
have
weekends
that day off.
No, I'm busy. Besides, the weekend after. Oh wait, I guess I could maybe get that one off, but it's not going to happen because I have 2 weeks off the next month.
Ooh.
They're not fixing stuff for
I
me,
think
man.
we all know what happened the last time I went to a con by myself.
Yeah, but you
You
learned.
ended up getting a great interview from a dude
Yes.
that's coming up. What's this
You
guy's
made a
name?
connection.
Trenton Payne,
Trenton Payne.
founder of Gilgamesh Games.
That interview is coming soon
Mhm.
to the pod.
I gotta.
Thank you for
Yeah.
letting us interview you. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, man, he's a good guy.
Mhm.
Turns out we have a friend in common. Found that out by
Amazing.
Facebook. I
That's
know,
awesome.
it's a small world.
Other things that are coming up are Dragonflight GameCon 40.
Ooh.
That's how we roll. That is in August 16th through 18th in Bellevue at the Hilton. And you're familiar with that because you all, of course, go to OrcaCon, which is coming up January 10th through 12th, 2020, at the Hilton in Bellevue.
Gosh, that's right around the corner.
Yep. And you want to do panels, get your panel submissions in. I think Merchants is closed now. I'm going to run a game, get your submissions in. It's orcacon.org.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Because
I'm going to go plug another con for us because their headquarters here, but even though they have their con in Indianapolis, but that is Gen Con, the mother of all cons.
Again, it's the convention where everyone named Jennifer goes.
That's right. That's right. No,
Have
it
you
is
ever-
not.
have you
That's
ever
a
been
huge
to it?
tabletop Yes, I have been.
You
Did you know
have?
that?
Wow.
Yeah, in fact, you can check it out on one of our podcasts.
That's right. You have that fuzzy little sack.
Yes. Yes, I do. Holds my dice. Anyway, it's August 1st to the 4th in Indianapolis. Best 4 days in gaming, Gen Con 2019, the largest gathering of tabletop gamers in North America. Check it out. Go to their website at www. Don't forget that. I don't know why I said www.
Because you're old.
I'm old. GenCon.com. And you can register right now because the registration is still open. And also, you're going to probably need to fly over there if you're listening to us away from Indianapolis. But you can take direct flights from the Washington area on Alaska Airlines. There you
Unless
go.
you have some magic feed corn.
Yes.
You can just.
Now,
Yeah. Who knows that?
that person in Cedar Falls, don't take the Alaska flight because it wouldn't really help you.
No. You could probably drive from Iowa.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. You should do that.
Maybe
All right.
carpool.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
You can hang out with your 65,000 closest friends.
It's fun.
I bet it
Telling
is.
ya, you got to go at least once.
Did I ruin
only
the
once.
Did I ruin the little beer announcement minute with my coffee?
Oh.
Oh.
We used to do that
We used to
long
do
time
that.
ago,
Do-
back in episodes 50 and 49.
Yeah.
you wanna
do
talk
you know
about-
what you're drinking?
Well, first of all, we should announce that we're here around the table.
Linwood, Washington.
Thank you, Tim
Thank
Morgan.
you very much, everybody.
Tim,
Yes.
do people? That's so
No,
80s.
that's so
That's
Arsenio
so
Hall.
80s. Oh.
Wow.
I am
Jeez.
drinking. Paul, do you know what this is? This
I
is
don't.
coconut and
It's a coconut porter,
Coconut porter.
from someplace in Portland because you're a trader.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Anyway,
I'm
what else?
drinking a Cloudy 5000 by Melvin Brewing, who's also not local because I don't care about that.
I'm drinking coffee from the Push Pump.
Yes.
I don't even
There
know what
we go.
brand it is.
All right.
Because we had a very
delicious.
hard day today.
But don't worry, loyal listeners, beer will follow. I will be drinking beer. Everything's okay.
Thank goodness.
You know what goes with beer?
Do tell.
Games.
Games.
That's true.
Nice segue, huh? So let's hear
It
from
was-
our
it was
tabletop
okay.
game
It was
news.
okay. Well, tabletop game news. We have a few. One just caught my eye as I was completing my in-depth research. Elder Die. Elder Die. D-I-E. Is that? Do you pronounce
Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. Okay. The little quote says, "God does not play dice with the universe. Cthulhu does." Can you put some really cool music with that when I say that?
He does
maybe
the
a
sound
thunder.
part.
I do the music.
Okay, thunder
He
clap
does
or
the-
something. Are you ready to delve into the mystery and madness of Elder Die? Solve its many mysteries. Dive down. That's helpful. Dive down to its dark heart. You might just help seal away the elder gods for good this time, and we might just have the tools to help you, which look like a bunch of really pretty colored dice when it's plural. isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that just came up as I was looking on Kickstarter. Looks like they have. They're about halfway there. They have 15 days to go. Elder Die. See, now when I first read that, I was like, never mind. I'm not going to tell you. It'll make-
Euthanasia?
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I was
Right to
thinking.
die?
Anyway, yeah.
That's the next
That's
game.
a
Right
whole
to die.
different
Yes.
That'll be a
game.
fun game. You get like 8 different dice.
Looks like Monolith Board Games has a Batman. Boy, Batman's scary looking in this picture. 80th anniversary.
Kind of a Frank Millery Batman,
Yeah.
but fancier.
He's very thick. He's much thicker
Yeah.
than Adam West. Is that his name? But Adam West is the best. Looks like it's a big ass board game with lots of pieces and lots of colorful. Yeah.
What's it called?
It's just called Batman. It's called.
Is this called Batman?
You sure just called Batman?
Well, that's what it says.
Because we won't be able to put up any pictures of it. I don't know what
Batman
it's called.
Gotham City is a mission-based miniatures board game where 2 to 4 players control the Dark Knight and his allies in their never-ending battle. Never-ending? That seems depressing. Against crime through an asymmetrical and open game system.
Oh, that's fun.
Each game involves an action-packed fight where 2 sides face off. One of the players is the villain, the other one is the heroes. They must work together. The heroes must work together as a team to foil the villain's plots. Yada yada. Looks kind of cool.
It does look very cool.
It does. It looks nice. Fantasy Flight Games, since we're sticking with some classics, Star Wars Outer Rim board game is now available. Yay! That's really all I have to say about that. It's available, so get it. Phalanx Games?
Sorry, what?
That's what it's.
What'd you say?
Phalanx?
Phalanx?
I know.
Phalanx?
I looked to Paul. I
Phalanx?
wanted to be careful that I didn't.
I say
anything.
phalanx. I'm not sure what's right. It's an ancient word.
I didn't say
Phalanx.
Phalanx Games, at least.
What?
Phalanx.
That's,
Phalanx?
What is it, Steve? Say it right for us once.
Phalanx.
Phalanx.
Okay, all right. They had this game that is called Europe Divided. It's on Kickstarter. It's 15 days away. It's 3/5 way to its monetary goal. I don't know why they chose to say that in a fraction. Basically, it takes place at the end of the Cold War. European expansion starts, and all this stuff that we might remember from our history: Central and Eastern European colonies, democracies, yada yada. Anyway, so you band together. Can I talk into both of them and see what would happen? All right. This is better. Anyway, so to ensure that Russia, that they do not fall back into the sphere of Russian influence, Russia doesn't gain power again. So, but of course, then the oil prices go up. Putin comes into power. Resurgence, Russia. Well, it's a Cold War thing, new Cold War, and that's what this is based on. It's cards and a board. It's pretty. You'll learn things. You'll feel powerful. Europe Divided. Check it out. Maybe you want to donate $1 or $2. Then we have USAopoly games. Astro Trash. This looked really cool. It's available now. We always leave junk behind. We go into outer space because that's what we do, because we're humans and we litter. So apparently this sanitation spacecraft has gone haywire, and it's spewed out all these pretty little pieces that you have to collect. And you have each person, I guess, 4 to 6 players, and you have to collect all these. I'm not sure exactly how it works because I haven't played it yet. You have to collect all these pretty little pieces of trash and get rid of them, and you either put them in the incinerator or push them off on your neighbor, and you do all this using 3 dice. One is a directional thing, one is a picture, and one is something else. It looks really clever and cute and easy to learn, which I need because I'm slow. I know. Stop drinking. I knew you'd say something like that.
No, I didn't say it.
You're thinking
Keep
it.
drinking. Go ahead.
And then this last one is something I'm not familiar with. But it seemed to come up everywhere. Dwarven Miner. Have you played that?
No,
Yes.
I have not.
Reforged, revised edition of this classic game that I have never played, but I understand many people like it. And
Is that M-I-N-O-R or M-I-N-E-R?
Miner ER. He's
I see.
mining. Because isn't Dwarven Miner? It's
That
like
could get you in
redundant.
trouble.
Oh, okay. And the game board and cover are apparently done by this legendary fantasy artist Larry Elmore, and they're pretty.
Oh, yeah.
So way to go, Larry.
See it right now.
Yep, pretty.
It's very comic booky. Wait, that's not it.
That's not
Did we
it.
interview Larry Elmore?
That's it.
Yeah.
Isn't it pretty?
That's pretty.
Yeah, looks nice.
Blue
And
Samurai.
that's
Didn't we interview Larry Elmore at Gen Con?
Oh, I think we did.
which episode was
Holy
that?
cow.
Like 25 or something like that.
Wow, good memory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Larry.
Well, I got some.
Sorry,
I
I'll
got
stop.
some more. I'd
Our
like to
studio
just
hauling
do
now.
real quick, but we also have Mondo Games, a Restoration Games, announce Bruce Lee expansion for Unmatched. So if you like kung fu, and who doesn't, or
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Surely not everybody was Kung Fu fighting.
Had to do that.
Yeah, it was
Thanks.
good.
Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, no
Usually
problem.
I'll leave me
No
hanging
problem.
when I start singing.
But anyway, love Bruce Lee. Check that out. Also, for those of you that love Pathfinder, Paizo is taking pre-orders for the Pathfinder character sheet pack. I wonder if that's for their new edition. Oh, it is for 2nd edition. So
Okay.
check that
Is
out.
that Laura Dern? Scroll back up.
No, I'm scrolling back up.
Oh.
Fantasy Flight Post new Spark of Hope review. I have no idea. I'm just reading it
That's Laura Dern.
in a cool way. Anyway, that's all I have, but I just want to add that in there because I felt that was kind of important. And I think we should, what do you guys think? Listen to the awesome review that we all did.
Let's learn about Waterdavians.
Yes.
Davians?
Okay, that too.
Whatever.
Whatever.
If you're in the North Ward, that's the way you would say it. But
How come they don't call them
I'm in the Dock Ward.
How come they don't call them Water Deepians? It's
yeah,
Water Deep.
They don't like that.
Yeah,
They hate
yeah,
that,
that gets them mad.
Yeah, it does. Well, with that, let's listen in on that.
Right?
Hey, geeks, and welcome to another episode of Behind the DM Screen. And we've got a pretty good show for you going on today because it's been very popular with all of you guys. You visited all the D&D podcasts that we actually did. And so this time we're going to do a little bit different. So we're going to do a review, or we're going to do an in-depth review of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. However, we're going to break it up in 2 pieces. One, we're going to do a player's version, and then we're going to do a DM's version. And today is the player's version of it.
So would that be in front of the DM screen?
Yes.
Wow, I guess it would be.
How about that?
Oh, maybe we'll have to do that. We'll have to change that up, I
We'll
guess.
figure that out
We'll
somehow.
figure it out.
Do we need
Figure it
a
out.
spoiler alert? Anybody?
Not
No.
this one. You don't have to do a spoiler alert because this is the player's version. The way this is going to work is we're going to educate the player who might be playing this game, Waterdeep. So it's like you got characters going into a campaign. They're probably going to know what's going on, right? If they live there. For example, our campaign, I think we had 1 or 2 people that was actually...
people that were native to Waterdeep,
Right.
and then
And
4
several people who didn't
travelers
read a
coming
thing
home, or coming
walked
to
right
the
into
city
it.
for the
Right.
first
Yeah.
time. Getting
So
stuff.
this is kind of like you have to do a book report, but instead you watch the movie.
Well, actually, what I like to see it as, it'd be like we're helping your character out,
Yeah.
right? It's like if D&D people in D&D were doing role playing in our world.
Yeah.
It was in Seattle. We're just educating them in Seattle because people that live in Seattle, they probably know who the mayor is. They probably know who the favorite team is.
the mayor?
I don't
You
know.
know,
That's-
that's Durkin, by the way.
But-
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
But
So-
Seattle does have an underground.
They do have an underground, and so does Waterdeep.
How about that?
actually. How about that? And so, what I would like to do is have this as a tool for the DM. So, DM, if you're going to do Waterdeep Dragon Heist, you can actually say, "Hey, players, why don't you listen to this episode of Geeks of Cascadia? Because I know you will never read any of the stuff I give
That
you."
never happens.
Because I know
That never happens.
poor Steve here gave us a
Get
bunch of
one
stuff, and I was the
person
only
that
one.
reads all the stuff.
I did, and I rubbed it in their
Everybody else
face
Ask them questions.
every single time.
So
And
we're
I
all
enjoyed
tools
it.
now.
We are
So
tools.
why don't we start off right now? So obviously we're going to talk about the city of Waterdeep, and we'll go into the geography because we'll start off there. So Waterdeep, obviously in the Sword Coast, it's next to the Sea of Swords. It is approximately located north of Baldur's Gate and south of Neverwinter. Waterdeep. The reason why it has its name Waterdeep is because it's got a deep harbor sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, mind blown, right? So
It's important
deep
for
harbor.
your shipping trade.
Creativity.
Exactly, and it's got some major roads going in there. So that's basically the if you look out the geography of Waterdeep. If you zoom into Waterdeep, anyone who's been to Hawaii and saw Diamond Head, imagine if the city of Honolulu was on top of Diamond Head. Essentially, that's what Waterdeep is. It's on top of kind of a mountain.
Well, it's got a
flat
mountain in it.
It's got a mountain in it, and it's got a little spur on the mountain where Castle Waterdeep itself is on. Now I'm going to go really quick. Actually, we got demographics. We got to find out how the city, what's it make up? It's a metropolitan city, so go ahead.
Oh, I sort of incorporated demographics with my ward descriptions, but loosely, it's a city. It's like any one of your big cities: New York, Seattle,
city.
Minneapolis. It's got your basic. It's a good city. It's a law-abiding, peaceful
Somewhat.
city. Somewhat,
Till we showed
as much
up.
as a metropolis can be. There's a lot of city watch on guard, so baddies like bugbears and orcs and trolls and gnolls and all those aren't really going to be. But you got humans, mostly humans, dwarves, elves, druids, halflings, gnomes.
And majority of the city is human, right? I mean, majority of the city.
majority
Yeah,
is,
majority.
yes,
About
absolutely.
64% of the
Yes.
city is human, and the rest is different mixed races. We got only 10% dwarves and 12% elves, and they're basically a mixture of different alignments. So if you go to Waterdeep,
64%. What year census?
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say,
that?
according to which census was that?
so, DR 1492. Thank you. Bob.
Fairly up to date.
I know it
That
is.
was my
It is
favorite
fairly up to date.
census.
Yes. Yes.
So yes,
So, well, let's go into the history. Really brief history, because we can go thousands of
long
years.
history.
It is very long.
do you know
so
how to nutshell something that long?
I do.
Steve's been nutshelling for a long
Yeah,
time,
he's a
actually.
Giant
Yeah,
nutshell.
you
So
don't know him that well.
So
but,
basically, if you go back, we'll go back 1,000 years, but really briefly. So the city of Waterdeep used to be an old elven capital of an elven empire, long time ago. And underneath the city, and I talked about it was on a mountain. There's dwarves that were mining under there for mithril, and then I don't know who's doing the other parts of Waterdeep, but you'll know a little bit about the Undermountain. That's right underneath the city. But basically, the elves and the dwarves that were living there at the same time, and then the elves decide, hey, we don't like it here. They left, and they actually burned and destroyed everything, leaving no evidence of their civilization. You might find a few things. Now, underneath Waterdeep, you'll still find dwarven ruins and stuff, but for the most part, any elven stuff you won't find at all. Now, when they were gone, a bunch of barbarians showed up. There's a bunch of warlords. Finally, this leader, this wizard, Agaron, I believe his name, who ended up being the first open lord. He actually cobbled people together, kind of by force, and he became the first open lord of Waterdeep.
Slavery.
And that's kind of where we're at now. And then this kind of the city grew from it. It was a great location, as I said, in the geography, and that's why it became a great port city, and why it's kind of focal point in the Sword Coast. And it's actually the largest city. That's why it's called the
And
City of
each
Splendors.
jewel of this sort.
Next, my last part that I get to brief is the government structure and politics. So all you need to know about this city is that there's an open lord, which is Laurel Silverhand, and she's the head. So she's like the mayor of the city. And she operates pretty much she can pretty much do it with impunity, but she does have to talk to her, we'll call it a city council, if you will, and that is the mass lords. which is basically people chosen a long time ago through nobility or through just sheer power. And they're kind of like her city council.
But nobody knows who they are.
That's right. And the reason is because they're wearing these garbs and masks that they all become the same size and the voice is modulated, so you can never know who these masked lords are.
Oh, okay.
Right? But the chances are is if your character is tight with a noble house, there's a good chance that that head of that noble house is probably a masked lord. It's not 100% certain, but it's probably a good chance that this probably happened. So that's kind of the structure of the government of Waterdeep, and the relationships and the social structure of it is you have the guilds, which we'll talk about a little later. The guilds play a major part of this, and the nobility plays a bit of it because they really control the economic power of Waterdeep, while the guilds control the labor of Waterdeep. There's also another position called the Black Staff, and the Black Staff is basically your high mage of Waterdeep. And she controls Force Grey, which is basically kind of your special forces / rangers of Waterdeep, basically.
Aren't they wizards though?
No.
No,
That's
they can be all kinds. Of
Oh,
things,
okay.
Actually,
That's
Gotcha.
a faction, Force Grey.
it is a faction. And so think of it this way: the Open Lord she's on a much higher level. She negotiates with other nations, with other cities. And the Black Staff really protects the city. She's kind of like the Attorney General or
She's in
FBI
charge.
director.
She's in charge of the watch
Yes.
and like the Griffin riding dudes.
And the magistrates
Griffin
and all that. So she kind of does the daily stuff, and Laryl Silverhand, she kind of does the big picture stuff. So that's basically what your characters need to know going into Waterdeep in terms of the government and kind of the history of Waterdeep. And with that, we go to Paul on the legal code.
Legal code?
Yes.
Still Paul?
Still Paul.
Still
You didn't
Paul.
introduce us in the beginning like you normally do, by
That's
the way. It's
okay.
a
I
little
did.
hurtful.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm still Paul.
I think they care.
This is
Doug.
Doug to my right, and then in the middle we have
Steve, further to your right.
other Steve.
Our favorite DM.
Other Steve.
Oh,
Our
wait,
favorite DM,
Beculus.
Steve.
The good Steve.
The good Steve.
Good Steve and evil
Well,
Steve.
wait, there's Barry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Sorry.
And who is this in the blue shirt?
Rebeculus. I said it.
Oh, that's here.
Listen
in there.
on, man.
Okay,
It's like when we worked together. You just never listen.
that's right. No, I never listened.
What was that?
Well, yeah, exactly. So, Waterdeep is kind of buttoned down. They got lots of rules. You can't do anything fun. This is not Joel Kuhn.
No, you just can't get caught doing
Yeah,
it.
you,
Okay,
you can do all
well,
kinds of fun stuff. Just don't get caught.
Yeah, don't get caught doing fun stuff. Like I built my character with the ability to charm people, and that's a big no-no. Just briefly, there's the code is number 1: crimes against lords, officials, and nobles. Assaulting, imprisonment, bad. Assaulting or imprisoning an official or noble, bad. Blackmailing an official, bad. Bribery, bad. Murder of a lord is bad.
Don't do that.
The penalties are amazing. Then there's also crimes against the city, which is entirely different than lords, officials, and nobles. Arson, bad. Brandishing weapons without due cause, so don't draw your sword.
Unless you have a
Bad?
good, unless you have a good
Bad.
reason.
Casually, don't brandish it.
Yeah, exactly. Something
Yeah.
like this.
You can casually bring it out.
I'm going to
you know.
show you
Just
my sword by
sketch it.
There you
sticking it
go.
into your gizzard.
That's right. That's called sheathing the sword, right?
Hampering justice,
Good heavens.
which define that. That's illegal.
Did you say hampering? Or
Hampering
Oh, okay.
justice. No.
That's totally different than pampering.
Littering.
Bad.
That's bad.
It's a clean city.
Poisoning a city well. They punish that by death, which
That's
they
frowned
should.
on?
Yeah, they should.
Wow.
But yeah,
Doesn't everybody?
What
I mean-
chaotic neutral jerk would do that? Treason, death, vandalism, imprisonment, using magic to influence an official without consent, up to 1,000 gold piece fine and edict.
You could afford that now.
I could afford that now. Because we,
now.
well, yes, because we did some stuff.
So consent is very important.
Consent is very important. Then there's also crimes against the gods. Don't think you have religious freedom.
Doesn't Does it say specifically which ones, or this is just
It doesn't.
whatever?
Assaulting a priest or lay worshiper. Imprisonment up to a 10-day and damages up to 500 GP.
Okay.
Disorderly conduct in a temple. Public blasphemy against a god or church. They're very uptight here. Tomb robbing. Tomb robbing is one of the most fun things you can do.
Oops.
The game is literally
So what
built
did we
around
what do we get busted for?
Exactly.
there?
Well, what is this fun stuff? There's crimes against citizens. They also care about the citizens. Assaulting a citizen, bad. Blackmailing or intimidating a citizen, there's a fine for that. Burglary, damaging property or livestock, disturbing the peace, which I'm not sure what that is defined as. I guess
That would be your character's music.
Yes.
That's true. Murdering a citizen with justification is like
that
exile. Without justification is death. Slavery.
So always justify your murder.
Exactly.
And
Always
it's-
have a really good
you
reason
just
for
snore
killing
too loud.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. Slavery, flogging, or hard labor up to 10 years. Using magic to influence a citizen without consent, $1,000 gold piece fine.
That seems worth it.
Also, if you're a magic user, you have to register with the city so they can keep an eye on you.
Right.
That's just a brief overview of.
But then you might get a job
You might
keeping an eye on other
That's
If
right.
you're
magic
worthy.
users.
You
If you're worthy.
And,
Yes.
and anyone who actually stays at the city for more than 10 days has to register.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because they want your taxes.
That's right.
And they'll
That's
find
why.
you.
And the other, and
I
the
don't know
other,
anything about taxes.
and the other thing too about the city is, and this is something the DM can play into, and the player should know about, is the way justice is served. Is you commit a crime, is a magistrate will just come up to you and make the decision on the spot. So it's
Like
kind
Judge
of
Dredd?
It's totally Judge Dredd, right? Or the city watch is going to drag you, and they're going to bring you to a magistrate. That's basically how it's done. You can appeal to a masked lord if you have the ability to do that, but pretty much they're going to defer to a magistrate. So
Well, it depends on the power of the Lord.
that's
You
true.
may not even know it happens.
That's true. So getting good with
So,
one of the
well,
nobility, then, right?
Exactly.
Or a certain faction.
Yes. Oh, there you go. There you go. So that goes to their next part, which is the wards.
Awards.
Yeah.
Words.
Ironically, that's my wife's last name. Anyway, I digress. So we got some wards. We got 7 wards that make up, not counting field ward. I
'Cause you
forgot about
forgot it.
it's outside the wall.
It's outside.
Yeah.
It's
There's fields there.
so
It's
we
a ward,
got,
but not a
It's a ward in this field.
In
Yeah, it's
non-alphabetical order:
field
Sea Ward, North Ward, Castle Ward, Trades Ward, Dock Ward, Southern Ward, not South Ward, Southern Ward. They don't like when you call it South Ward, and the City of the Dead. So Sea Ward is it's kind of facing the Sea of Swords, big high cliffs. Think Casterly Rock. Is that how you say it? Think King's
Think
Landing.
Medina if you
Yes.
live in Washington State.
Yeah.
Where all the rich people
If you live in
live.
Medina
Rich
and you're
and
watching our
powerful,
podcast,
high
thank you so
cliffs.
much.
That's right.
It's pretty much where the wealthiest.
And
of
why
the
aren't we gaming
wealthiest
at your
live.
place, by
That
the
is
way?
the highest
And,
rent district.
Yes.
Lots of temples and everything, and you you know you
A lot of
have some-
gentrification there.
Yes,
See-
exactly, and you have some visitors up there, actors and servants, and they don't live there. It's rich land. North Ward and Castle Ward, which are just south of the Sea Ward. That's where the upper class are going to live. You got your merchants and your guild artisans and minor nobility, successful adventurers if you do well. And you're going to get some fine foods there, and you're going to get city watch protection up there, and tabs. There you go. Tabs. So yes, there's plenty of nobles. It's very reserved. It's very peaceful, polite up there. There's plenty of taverns and shops. They're very upscale. You're not going to find any.
Nice walkable neighborhood.
Yes,
Yeah.
walkable neighborhoods.
Convenience stores.
Families from business folk and civil servants, and many of them have servants themselves, that type of thing. And then let's see here, North Ward, yes, did that. Castle Ward, of course. Castle Ward, you said, has Waterdeep Castle, which
That's why it's called Castle Ward.
it's actually
Is it?
not. It's actually not where the Open Lord lives, though.
No,
is it?
okay.
It's just sort of I was hoping you'd take that and kind of run with it a little bit, but anyway.
You didn't read the enchilada.
Yeah.
I didn't read the whole enchilada. But anyway, Castle Ward is where you're going to find the military forces, the courts, the government, and the market. The market. It's in caps. It's like the largest one.
The jail is there too. So once your character breaks one of the rules,
There you go.
How convenient.
And of course, the yawning portal Is that?
That's in Docksward.
Is that in Docksward?
That's in
Okay.
Docksward.
Never mind. Wait for it.
Hold on.
Wait for it. So that's a little more affluent. Trades Ward is kind of. It's not landlocked there. It's kind of in the middle down between North Ward and Castle Ward.
It's where your blue collar workers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's where you're going to find the most shopping and eating and drinking and taverns and inns is in the Trades Ward. Every trade you can imagine: glove shops, tea shops, pottery, shoes, jewelry, flowers, perfume.
You need a grill
groceries.
stuffed.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's right.
The trades
The grill
ward.
stuffed.
Is that where the purple shop was? Was that in there too?
I don't
Our
know.
favorite shop.
I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that might be Southern.
And the
Ward.
City Watch patrols there too, but there's besides in uniform, they're incognito also. They're undercover.
Oh, we got undercover.
Wow.
Yeah. There's lots of guild halls down there, obviously, and it's Trades Ward is like a big open market in and of itself, and it's 3 times as big as the market. But of course, it's a ward. But it's just huge. Anything you ever want is in the Trades Ward. So personally, that's where I would live. But we move on to what do we got? The Docks Ward. Squalid, wretched, seedy. The Docks Ward. Can you put in some music for some mood music for that?
That's up to this guy over here.
So it's
Bring your sword. Bring your sword to
there's
the
the
dock.
barely incorporated Deepwater Harbor District. It's where most of your poor, homeless, your scoundrels and pirates and thieves, are going to be. Zentarum, Xanathar guilds take advantage of a lot of people living here because they are just broke and they need stuff. So
That's where your seediest halfling bards are going to be found.
that's where we found Paul.
Yes.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Trades Ward. And what do we have left? Southern Ward. Do not call it the South Ward, as I said. They
They'll
don't like
know
that. Yes.
that you're
Is it
not
named
from
after
around.
Ann Southern?
It's named after not only Ann Southern and the location that it's in, but the Southerners who originally settled here. When
Waterdeep, you're
was
all-
being settled. Yes, yes. Waterdeep, y'all have a Coke. Let's see. They host many traveling merchants. It's made up of a lot of many enclaves, and blocks and streets are occupied by citizens who trace their ancestry to other realms. That's where my Emerald Enclave is located,
okay.
I believe.
Very nice. Very nice.
It was noted in the Volo's Guide to Waterdeep that there's excellent halfling food there,
So if
Yay!
you're a halfling, go there.
and
yeah.
and Kalashite music. I don't know what that means.
Well, it ends in shite,
Dwarven
so
crafts,
that kind
kinda
of
thing.
says it right there, doesn't it?
And the residents of the Southern Ward take pride in being hardworking folk. Let's see here. I already said the Dock Ward, but I didn't mention.
The field ward. And you want to touch a little bit on the field ward, even though it's not kind of a ward.
No, because I didn't read about it, but it's not within the
They
city
grow
walls.
stuff?
Fields,
But there is this,
no sewers, stinky,
It is
and
stinky,
peasants
yes.
live there and farm.
That's,
That's about
that's
it.
a nutshell, baby.
That's it.
right there. And then, of course, the City of the Dead, which is I don't know. There's
Not much going on there.
No.
No. It's
What's a big giant? It's like Central Park, right?
It's
like in
like
New
a
York.
huge, beautiful cemetery,
Just
and
don't get
mostly
caught taking
mausoleums.
Right.
They
Yeah,
don't really
don't
bury
go
the dead
digging.
anymore. It's
Yeah.
mausoleums, noble and wealthy merchants.
That's not where the
so,
adventurers go. You don't go there to do your adventure.
Right. So yeah, if,
You could
Well-
go there to like meditate or something.
might do some
It's
adventuring there.
peaceful.
Just don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
yeah, don't go there expecting to kill zombies and undead because there's really not much there. Sorry, you're gonna look like a dork and you can get arrested by the city watch if you do that.
For being a
How
dork.
come
if you get
inhabitants of
caught.
Waterdeep are called Waterdavians and not Waterdeepians?
Because water deepers is kind of
Water
Waterdeepians?
derpers.
derpers.
Yeah,
Davians.
water derpers.
Davians?
Well, that was very good. Thank you very much. So let's go on to the next one, which is factions. Steve, you want to pick that up? And as
Oh,
you're doing that,
boy.
you can speak into the mic. Microphone.
Hello.
Oh.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Microphone.
Yes.
So, okay. So, Forgotten Realms has these factions. And especially when you're in a place like Waterdeep, your environment is a very, very social environment. Unlike, a lot of times you're in the wilderness or whatever, you're in dungeons and the factions aren't that big a deal. A lot of what's going to happen is all about people. There's not necessarily politics involved, but there's kind of politics involved. There's different factions vying against each other, and you're going to get involved. So the best thing to have in a case like that is always, having friends who got your back. Now you're going to have to make a name for yourself with, if you so choose, a faction or multiple factions. But, they're good to have, good to think about, and can really come in handy, and can also, as you're working your way up and you do work for these people,
Oh, come on, he brought back
I
beer.
know,
You're
that's
empty.
the
I got
whole-
none.
you
You're
saw
almost
this.
done. And he's got a stupid
Yeah.
grin on his face like, look what I
We
get.
might have to take a short
So,
break.
so
I
those
could
of you
walk
who
away
are
from the
listening
mic.
right now, Steve is a little shocked that he didn't get. He's out
Yeah.
of beer and he's
Paul just walked
Super
in with
rude
beer.
of still
That's
Paul
okay.
to
It's
not
'cause he's
get
not
any
the
of
DM
us.
And
anymore.
apparently he
So-
didn't pay attention
Yeah.
in kindergarten because he didn't bring enough for
So-
everybody.
Yeah.
So Steve, as a play,
So-
if you're a character in there, do you think it's wise to do a faction?
Well,
Does it really
you know,
matter?
All the
and-
cool
and it's
kids
gonna-
join
It's going to
factions.
kind of depend on the DM running it. But you have
Well, you get something, don't you? I mean, there's always
you
some
can, yeah.
benefit, right?
most of the time what you're going to do is you're going to make allies. You're going to kind of choose some group to say, hey, I'm with you guys, and you work for them. They'll give you things to do,
And that's
and you get faction with them. They like you more, and so they're likely to help you out when you need it, and you may need it.
yeah,
Sounds
like,
sounds
you know,
like sucking up to the cool kids.
for example, if you, I don't know, grabbed a cursed item and just couldn't shake it, you
And
know,
now
you might be
he's
able to
my
go there.
buddy, isn't
Yeah,
he?
you might be
Yeah.
able to go there and take that,
Or
get
if
that
you have a
taken care
stone
of.
that you have to tune up your butt for a day.
So,
You weren't supposed
anyways,
to talk about that.
just to go through some of the ones that were found here,
Squeal.
there's the Emerald Enclave, which are normally like your nature druid types and whatnot.
Emerald Enclave.
Fucking
Which
hippies.
you're like, hey, we're in a city. What's the Emerald Enclave doing? Well, there is
only
a
the earth
natural law of
that
the
we live on.
wild in Waterdeep. It's more with humanity involved and whatnot, not necessarily nature. But there is an urban environment, an urban ecosystem, and the Emerald Enclave seeks balance in the ecosystem. So they're there.
Emerald
Um,
Enclave rocks.
You may be able to hook up with them if that's your thing. There is Force Grey, Vajra Sapphire,
And
the
Steve.
Black
Steve's
Staff.
paying attention. He's like, yeah,
Yes.
Force Grey.
That's right.
Force Grey is, again, it's kind of
That's
like
the varsity team, though.
Yes, Force Grey is the varsity team. The JV team is called the Grey Hands, so you can more easily get into that, and you can work for the Black Staff, helping protect Waterdeep from
People
any
like us.
dangers of Waterdeep.
And picking up dry
if
cleanings
you're-
and food
Yes.
for the Force Grey.
If you're in Force Grey, maybe you're stopping, saving Waterdeep from liches and armies undead. If you're in the Grey Hands, maybe you're going and cleaning out rats' nests that have been getting into eating uniforms or whatever.
Right.
So,
You start at the bottom, you work your way up.
That's right.
so
but those are-
Force
that
Grey
is-
like the jocks and like Emerald Enclaves like the hippies and
Kinda,
is there, like,
yeah.
a burnout faction and a nerd faction.
Harper's are like drama
Yeah.
club.
Force Grey is like Emilio Estevez, whereas there wasn't a hippie in Breakfast Club, was there?
Judd Nelson? He's
Judd
He's a
Nelson?
burnout.
No, he's a
Yeah.
burnout.
There was
For those of you old enough to remember
Oh my God,
Breakfast Club.
Wow.
Well,
yeah.
if anybody
So
got
I won't go
if anybody
anywhere
got
with
my
that.
Ann Southern reference, I want you to email
Yeah.
us at geeksofacascadia@gmail.com.
And
right.
we
Just-
will give you a T-shirt.
No, it's going to be people just Googling Ann Southern
The first-
and then
the first
sending
person
it.
who
Okay.
does it.
There you
gets
go.
a t-shirt.
Well qualified.
So then there's also the Harpers, which are the Harpers are a little weird. You probably know them from other, they're all over Faerun.
You were Harper,
Uh,
right?
But they're essentially good guy spies, and they're kind of bardic based.
They're the emos at your high school.
Yeah, okay.
Emus at your high school? You mean the big bird?
They've always got their fingers in everything and kind of know everything, and so they're not actually a bad group to get involved with, especially if you're a bard. Lord's Alliance is the Lord's Alliance is really, there's a large, all the major cities of the Sword Coast kind of together make the Lord's Alliance from the power perspective. And you can serve them. So the heads of all the main city states and whatnot, Luskin and Waterdeep and all that, have an alliance to kind of keep power, keep the realms under control.
It's kind of like the NATO
Yeah,
of Faerun,
kinda.
basically. Yeah.
Only it's
Richie Rich.
it's like if
right?
Russia kind of controlled NATO, because it's not entirely about protection.
Right. It's about the trade, the money.
Yeah, it's about protecting their
Putting
status.
money in people's pockets. Yes.
So that's something you can get involved with. Order of the Gauntlet is
True
basically
adventurers would join that.
goody two shoes type of lawful stupid paladin type of, good. Go out and
Stick up
slay
your butt,
evil.
sort of a dude.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
horrible to do good in the world.
No, I'm just saying.
What are you thinking?
It's that type of thing. They're
Yes.
very serious set of people. And so you can, if you're a paladin or something, or you're a cleric who wants to go out and smite evil, those are your people. And then there's the Gentarum, which are the free market capitalists of Faerun, out to make a buck, out to keep the money flowing and make sure a certain percentage of it stays in their pockets. Kind of however you have to do it. And those are the main factions that kind of, if you join these, you may get an option to join them. You can talk to your DM if you're interested, and you can do things for them and maybe build up faction, and they maybe do things for you later on. There may also be another one or two factions in there that I'm not going to get into because this is the player's version.
Right.
It might be a bit of a spoiler, but in general, go out and
Emerald
talk to
Enclave
people.
is the best.
Go out and
Right.
talk
And
to
it's-
people. There are a lot of power groups in this city doing things, and if you get involved, maybe you can work that to your advantage.
Sometimes it's not about power, it's just about doing the right thing.
Which is why you join the
Sometimes.
Order of the Gauntlet.
And again, this
Sometimes it's
Or
like
the
a
Emerald
little pin
On
shaped like a heart.
occasion.
right. And again, this is not. There's
all you
no
got.
spoilers in
Kid.
this. This is something that any character
Yeah.
who's playing D&D in the Forgotten Realms are going to know. They're going to know
Those
about
are all
these factions.
those are all kind of the standard Faerun. They're all over Faerun, but
What do you say to a beer bathroom break?
Should we take a short
Because
rest?
I'm
Yes.
sure the viewers would like that also.
Yeah, because after he
Or
edits
just
this,
you-
we'll be
or
back in
just
like
you.
10 frames and we're right here again. They don't get to break, we do.
You're very cynical, Douglas.
maybe
It's
they will-
factual.
All right.
they'll
Well, we
just
will go for
put
a
in-
short break. Right about.
Stay right there
now.
because he's going to.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back from our short rest, and
Oh, I feel so much better.
I
feel like I
we
can
all?
get-
lighter, more
shorter.
quicker.
The bladders have
Note
shrunk.
the full beers.
I'm going to inspire you all.
Oh, thank
So
you.
feel free to roll a D8 if you need to.
All right, there you
Just
go.
supposed to sing a song? to do
I'm
that?
not doing that right now.
But we can go to our next thing, which is guild. So, Doug,
Hooray!
Guilds.
Guilds.
How many guilds are there,
There
Doug?
can't be that
Well,
many.
Paul, since you asked, there are 44 guilds.
Wow, that's a lot.
I
Please tell
know.
us about all of them.
Can I tell you every single? Okay, so
Only one
first
man.
there's the Bakers Guild. We
no,
all
let's
know.
not do that.
No, yeah, there's not enough time to go through all 44. Unions, guilds, same thing. This city is run by guilds. Do not cross the guilds. If you want to join one, great, you can. It's like 1 GP a month. If you pay in advance, 10 GP a year. But don't piss off the guilds. So, for example, if we were having an adventure and we were in an inn, and the front door got destroyed and the windows broken out and the walls got
lot.
bashed,
Often.
for example, if that were to happen.
Sure.
We know the names of those guys.
Yeah, so this is what you'd have to do. First of all, find a solicitor. Do not try and deal with the guilds directly. There's just too many. Find a solicitor. They'll kind of dole all the work out for you. They'd have to call the Carpenters Guild, Carpenters, Roofers, and Plasterers Guild. to repair the walls and the doors. Then you got to get the Guild of Glass Blowers and Glazers to remake the windows. Then you got to get the skilled smiths and metal forgers to do the hinges and the handles. And then you've got to get the armorers, locksmiths, and finesmiths so you can actually get locks on your front door. And you'll need the Dung Sweepers Guild because they're going to bring everything in a wagon, and that wagon's going to sit out front with horses. Those horses are going to crap, and somebody's got to clean it up.
That's right.
So for that one little skirmish, you've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's
5
the
different
guild
guilds.
I would join.
Dung Sweepers.
500 gold dragons.
And the thing about the guilds is you literally cannot do anything. You cannot do business in Waterdeep. In fact, it was so frustrating to the last Open Lord of Waterdeep, which is Dagalt Nevermember, who ended up being ousted. He's a Neverwinter now, and he does not allow guilds because they were such a pain in the butt. But that, you're right. They can kind of control the labor of that city.
They run all the labor. There is something called guild law. It's not technically a law. It's like the Code of Hammurabi, right? It's kind of some guidelines they go by, and basically it says if you try and work outside the guild, you're going to get tar and feathered, or get your stuff thrown off a boat, or get your wagons disassembled that you're trying to build. Whatever you do, somebody's going to come in and make sure that you can't do it because you're not a guild member.
And
Wow, that's like bullying, man.
And
That's
though
like-
and I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to go deep into Waterdeep history, but there was a guild war back in the day. You can Google that and check that out. But guilds have a lot of influence in this. But, all those guild members, they probably worship something.
They do.
Or go to a temple, and that's your next thing.
That's
is
my next.
religions and
Nice
temples.
segue.
I
Super
know,
smooth.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much. Yes.
15 temples
Oh.
in Waterdeep. 15.
it?
That's it. You'd think there'd be more.
Even in Seaward, there's like a shit ton in Seaward.
No,
a lot.
Seaward, there's a couple. There's a couple.
Why is that a swear word?
Well, actually, Seaward has the most. Seaward, I believe North Ward was the other one that kind of... They're all
okay.
concentrated in there. Every ward has at least something. I'm not going to go through them all, but there are plenty out there.
It'd be cool if you did go through them all really fast. Just name them back to back.
Really?
No,
I
that's
believe
okay.
there
No,
is
I'm
even-
looking at the list, trust me.
I believe there's even a temple that's kind of like all the other religions that doesn't have a temple. It's kind of like
Well, there's Holy Hands House.
a Unitarian.
Yeah, Holy
temple,
Hands House is like
basically.
every deity. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we worship everybody. Come
Right.
on in on Sunday, and we don't care. Just
Right.
let's fold hands, and we'll sing some songs and drop some money in the...
So
in the
basically, if you're a character in Waterdeep, there is a place for you to go.
there's a place, yeah.
Well, tell us about your character's temple and what they have there.
Do I have to? I
Did they
can't...
know what his character is? What
Sure.
character? And what temple?
Oh, Geirhawk, and I worship Tyr. My character worship Tyr. I worship a different
We're
god
not
on here.
judging. You can worship.
Halls
your
of
real
Justice was the temple for me. It's in the Council Ward, and it's where all the cool kids hang out.
Yeah,
You know,
it's all the jocks.
it is. It's all the cool kids. Yeah, Castle Ward's got some great temples. Spires of the Morning are there. Temple of the Celadrina is there. They're the coolest one I found, though. I'm gonna. It's Soon's temple. It's called the Temple of Beauty.
Yes.
Oh.
And basically, I guess
go
it's like it's a
baths.
bathhouse, right? So if like before you go adventuring or after you're done, you can just go hang out, get a
up.
massage, do
Get your nails done. You get all the blood out.
Hey,
of
you know what?
Why did
And
our
whatever
party
else-
not go there?
whatever else you need done before you go adventuring can
right.
be done there.
Had I known about that,
right?
I would have
And
shimmied up there.
actually, and before you do that, you can actually go to the Font of Knowledge temple, the temple to Ogma? I can't even read that. Ogma, sorry, Ogma. Check out a book maybe, and then go to that temple, right?
Yeah, because that's what you're going to do is read a book while you're getting massaged.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can think.
in the hot
You,
tub.
you return it, it's all wet and covered in massage oil.
That's right.
Yeah, massage oil. Let's call it that.
I used to work at a video store. You don't want to touch that stuff.
That's right. That's right.
But no, those are the guilds,
Okay. Well,
temples, cool
Right.
places to hang out.
Right, and your
Find
book-
one, as we talked about with the factions. Most of them are associated with a god, which has a temple associated as well. So if you need work, if you want to start adventuring quickly and not just beat about the city like a deadbeat,
There's a lot of options. huh?
get out there and
What's wrong with
But
being
it's
a
totally okay to just beat around the city like a dead.
Yes.
well, you
some
should.
of us
I mean,
like
you
to
should
do
look
that.
around,
Sure.
but come on, at some point you got to
And
get
you
things
can
kicked
go
off,
to,
right?
and as a
don't have to
character,
do
you
nothing.
can go to any any member of the city watch and ask for where a temple is. And then
You can
they
drive
should-
your DM crazy by just lazing about the city for days on end until he
I'm just
forces
gonna
you into
sit
something.
here.
Well, that leads us to the next thing, which is Let's say you just went to the temple, but you want to drink after you did your religious experience.
Of course you do.
And
So what do you do next, there,
I'm
Rebecca?
always found after leaving temple. I want to drink. Well, there's many in each ward, but Castle Ward, for example, we have the Jade Jug. It's very plush, very luxurious, and it's apparently well worth the expensive price. Probably a lot of good ale selections. Pampered Traveler, and of course, the Yawning Portal. We need
Never
some
heard of
sound
it.
effects for that. Wow.
Don't you love us?
No, it is a tourist trap, by the way.
Yes, the Yawning Portal is a tourist trap. Of course, it's built on top of the only remaining entrance to Undermountain. Did you already say that?
Oh, that's later.
And as for Bonnie, she's great, right?
Bonnie's great. Durnan went
Steve
down there. He
Steve's
knows
character
what's
had a
down
little
there.
crush on her. He'd like to go back there, and
Not so much now.
yeah,
Anyway.
not so much.
All of them.
All right.
Okay. And then we have, if you're looking for just a place to have a beer, we have Dragon's Head, Elfstone, Flag and Dragon.
The Flag and Dragon.
Go to the one that rhymes.
That's next to the Regal Beagle.
It's that's my style. It's a modest neighborhood pub renowned for its Zazar, which is Waterdeep mulled wine.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, that stuff was
Great with
great.
nachos.
It is. Or Talus, a palm-sized cracker with a thin slice of sausage on top. The
Cracker.
quaff. Did we stop at the quaffing? Quagging?
Quick.
I feel like you said that.
Wow, that could
Well,
go different places quick, can't it? I'm not even trying with that one.
All right, let's see. Let's see what's in Seaward. There's not a hell of a lot of ones in Seaward. The Broken Lance, and it's cozy, frequented by staff and the athletes and fighters from the Field of Triumph. So Crown and Heron.
A lot of hipster bars there, though. That's the only problem with Seaward.
Yeah.
Seaward was all the ruffians.
Where the
Isn't that?
PCC is.
The Fiery Flagon is famous among sailors in the realms over for its seafaring decor and pricey fare.
Yeah,
So
there
if you don't want
are
to spend a lot of money, I wouldn't really go to the ones in Seaward.
many theme bars.
There
in
are
Waterdeep.
Northward, Galloping
There's a TGI
Minotaur,
Fridays on every corner.
Twilight
No, these are
Hunters
all.
Inn.
These are really the hipster dives a lot of time, or the very upscale.
He knows he's been to them.
There's a ton, especially if you look into like all the old editions of Waterdeep to bring things in. There's so many taverns.
Oh,
and
yeah. Your
inns with weird themes to them, and your DM might go wild with it, which is great. And
Yeah,
you
your
might find a place that suits you. Like, we're gonna hang out here a lot.
Hey, your character can, let's say it's a halfling. You want to just hang out at a halfling tavern. There's a way to do that, I
Why
believe.
would
And
we
your
wanna hang
your
out at a
half-orc friend
halfling
can
tavern?
come with and
That's
feel
right.
really awkward.
And you can get
I
like
don't
a,
feel
like a big
awkward.
Bloody Mary
don't feel
garnished
awkward
with a
anyway.
hot dog and a
Oh,
piece
man.
of pizza and some bacon.
Dude, if you're in the trades ward, you should go to the bowels of the earth. That just
That was a Chiseltooth's.
That was a
favorite
hangout.
place.
And they got great hot wings at the there, too.
caters to mercenaries.
We don't know what they're made of.
For employment or
No.
good roll. I love it. South Ward. What do you have in South
Harpy
Ward?
wings. Right?
The House of Good Spirits has some vintners, distillers, and Brewers Guild.
See, they're everywhere.
Yep, there's
Told
guild.
you.
Here's a guild. There's guild. Everywhere's guild.
One?
The beer
One?
golem. You
Oh.
guys should have gone to the
Why
beer
did
golem.
you not take us to the
I don't
beer
know.
column? Good night, nurse.
I didn't see that before.
So in the South Ward, there's only one inn, but there's multiple taverns, I noticed there.
What does that say?
Interesting. I don't know.
Well, depending on what sources
Did you call it to
use,
Southward?
You did.
You did.
Oh.
Did.
You can't do that,
Oh.
man.
I
You
can't. Good on you, Doug.
You're not from
That's
around
like-
here, are
I'm
you?
not from
No,
there.
you're
I'm
really
from
not
Candlekeep.
from-
All right. Check out the Dock Ward,
Yeah.
the horrible place.
That's
it's got,
the one.
tons
Sorry, Dock
of
Ward.
inns
Oh,
and
there's
What happens at the dock
taverns.
ward?
Everything happens at the
Debauchery.
dock.
The rear of hippocampus. Oh, the rearing hippocampus. A sleeping snake. The shipmaster's hall. I don't know. I don't know if you want to go in these. If you're
Shipmasters.
vacating with your family or whatnot, I wouldn't go to any of the ones in the dock ward. The angry coxswain.
You did that right. Thank you for finishing that.
Had to draw out that middle syllable. Yeah, there. I don't know. That's it. There's so many. There's so
Cool.
many unmentioned.
I'm
There's
assuming
just-
the feast halls, which I see in every ward. I'm assuming that's
Oh, I
probably
thought
just a
fest-
rest-restaurant, maybe.
Fest halls.
I don't know. Do you know?
It's like
Wouldn't
the
those
old
be great
Golden
halls?
Corral.
Gold Corral. Yeah,
Royal
it's
Fork.
Royal
Yeah,
Fork.
they're all
right.
golden corrals, basically.
And the good news is
Good
every
throwback.
single
I like that.
ward has a Starbucks. So check that out. You can buy a Waterdeep Starbucks mug. That's
Oh,
what I
there's-
like.
In the Castle
Freaking
ward, there's a
brothels in the
Starbucks
dock
across the
ward.
street from a Starbucks.
of course there is.
That's right.
case anyone wants to
Used to be a Tully's.
hit a brothel.
Yeah.
Purple Palace, Blushing Mermaid. Brothels.
There you go. If your DM does that kind of stuff. All right. So next up, if you're done drinking and hanging out in, you go
Carousing.
check out some of the tourist sites, and we got Steve to do that. Other notable locations: Castle, Mage Towers, maybe some big statues. What do you got
Tell
for
us all the notable locations.
Well, there are so many
And you've got
notable
3
locations.
minutes.
Just the big ones.
So if you're Waterdeep's
said.
a weird place, and I'm not going to go through all these things. Maybe just a couple, But I mean, if you go and you talk to your friend, like, man, I was walking down alley and these 3 knives floated up and attacked me and stabbed me. They're going to go, oh, was it 3 Knives Alley? Yeah, that's what happens there. Duh. And it's like almost every alley is like that. And, there's all these places full of these places where just bizarre things happen. And you think of in like, a lot of people think about the, the games like, oh, these notable things. In Waterdeep, everything happens somewhere. So just be careful, and when you hear names of places, might not just be the crazy name the locals came up with.
Hey,
There
Doc,
might be
I don't know
something
how I got
behind it.
this.
I
Are you
got
an STD alley? How'd you know?
Yeah.
That's how it is.
A couple of the main things there are the walking statues, which
they don't actually walk.
Not
they
right
don't?
now.
Okay.
Not right now. There was the one main on Mount Waterdeep, like 100-foot tall statue. That one was the Sahagwin, the Sahagwin Humbled, which was the statue that protected Waterdeep long ago, and what was it? It was the only one for a long time. Defended the city, and then the black staff of the time afterwards turned it into a Sahagwin-looking thing to honor its fight against the Sahagwins.
I hate to be predictable, but are you going to talk about that one?
Oh yeah, you guys. Well, I'll go
'Cause-
through. But so, anyways, 100 years ago, during the spell plague. Did I just say that right?
You just did.
Okay.
Yes.
Spell plague. Yeah.
Yes.
Everything
you did.
is, yeah. Okay, gotcha. There were suddenly many more of these statues attacking the city, and they stopped them all, but they still stand or sit or lie around the city. These statues, and there's a bunch of them. There's like 8 or 10 of them, different ones that have been sitting there for 100 years now. And so some of them, there's like buildings have been built onto them or across them and whatnot, but they're big landmarks. There's the God Catcher, the Griffin, the Great Drunkard, which you guys saw that one. The Lady Dreaming, the Honorable Knight, the Hawkman, the Sword Maiden. And they're really at this point mostly landmarks. They haven't moved since 100 years ago, but
Right.
they are good landmarks for around the city because you can. They're
Right, and a
100 feet tall, you
Waterdavian, a
can
local
see it.
Waterdavian would say, "Hey, meet me at the Dreaming Lady" or something like
yeah.
that.
So when they did
And-
move the Great Drunkard, that was probably a catastrophe waiting to happen. Did you just stumble around, or
Well, I think a lot of them got their names kind of the drunkard. The way he ended up, I think, is he the one sitting down?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
that,
It looks like
lying
he's
down.
like he was sitting down because kind of.
right. It looks
Part
like
of what I did.
Rebeculous out
that
of
would be
D&D
my
night.
Waterdeep
Yeah.
bucket list check off.
Right,
Yeah.
and if you're a
He sat
character,
down with his head forward, so he kind of looked like he passed out drunk, and so he's now called the Great Drunkard.
and probably as a character, Waterdeep, you'll probably seeing these as you'll hear the rumors or the myths of these statues walking. You're not sure if it's true or not, but you do know the story, and you'll see these statues throughout the city.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget the other kind of the highlights of the city that you might know. Obviously, Yanni Portal, Blackstaff Tower, which is where the academy's at. Waterdeep Castle, obviously, everyone's going to see
Yeah.
that. I think those are the kind of the big
The biggies.
ones. Yeah, the
Yeah.
big ones that people know about. So, but let's talk about the noble houses and famous Waterdavians. I know I talked about one, Laeral Silverhand, who's the Open Lord, but there are others as well. Isn't that right,
only-
Oh,
Paul?
there are.
only a couple, right?
There's a lot. A lot of people live in Waterdeep.
Yes.
It's like where adventurers go to retire.
That's true.
It's amazing. Well,
What
it's-
is the population? It's like 2 million or something like that, right?
It's big. It's big.
we'll check that out.
2 and 6
In
zeros.
the meantime,
is what I read.
we of course have Durnan, who's a former adventurer, and he's the innkeeper of the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, he is.
He's more than happy to send you down into the hole and charge you a gold piece for it.
He went down that hole.
He did.
Can we give tips to adventurers?
Him and Mert.
Can we give tips, or we got to save
You
that
can
for the
bet
next
on
one?
whether they'll
We're
come
saving
back.
that for
Well,
the
that's the
next one.
thing.
That one.
There's bets on people that go down in the
Oh
hole.
yeah, there's a dead pool.
Don't forget to bet on yourself.
Yeah, don't forget to bet
like
yourself.
some parties did and came back alive and
exactly.
realized
wait, we could have won some money.
could have made some money.
Okay.
So
There's also a Volothamp Getarm. Mm-hmm. Explorer and author. You can actually buy his book.
He's
There's
kind
a
of like
picture.
Rick Steves, right?
It's like Rick
In a way?
Steves,
Yeah.
but for
Steves,
monsters.
What's his book called?
His book is called Volo's Guide to Monsters, and there's a picture of it right here.
Oh, wait a minute. What's his guide to Waterdeep?
Right there.
He's written several books.
Yes.
He's been around for a while.
Also, you may run into Maloon War Dragon, adventurer, Foursquare member. One of our party could not pull himself out of his butt.
what? Whose butt?
Wow.
Never mind. Keep going.
There's Mert, another adventurer.
Oh, Mert.
Harper.
Mert the money lender.
Yeah,
Mert
Mert
went
the
down with
Miner.
Durnan, right? Mert and Durnan?
I believe they did.
Mert
Like Bert and Ernie.
Yep.
Mert, yeah.
Now, he's not a current resident of Waterdeep, but he still maintains a house there. There's a Deggle Neverember. He now runs Neverwinter.
Yep.
Because he got
Used to
kicked.
run
He used to run
Waterdeep,
Waterdeep, but he got kicked out for some reason. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
But he maintains a residence there. Also, there's a mysterious Holster Blackcloak. It's a really, really old wizard. Most people think he's dead.
Does he wear
Probably
black?
dead.
You'll know him.
He's
If you're a
probably dead.
character, you'll kind of heard about this weirdo person.
But
That's
he's
about
like,
it, though.
at one point, he owned lots of bits of Waterdeep. So lots of things are named after him. We already talked about Laurel Silverhand. And we never said her name, Vajra
Safar, yep.
She's the current Blackstaff and Archmage of Waterdeep. Talk to her if you want work. Maybe if she's feeling patient with you, she may throw some work your way.
Or throw you in
And
a
she, of
dungeon.
course, carries the Blackstaff, which does things that
You'll learn about as you
Right.
learn
It's
about.
it's a staff, and it's also the title of the position.
yes,
And it's
And it's
black.
black.
And it's
So
black.
there you go.
And it's
and
black.
it has powers.
It does have powers.
Also, there's a
Page 2.
of the noble houses, just really
Yes.
quickly.
These are important.
These
gonna
are
do-
important.
Pay
We're gonna,
attention,
Oh,
kids.
no, don't worry.
we're gonna do this game
Skip
of
it. If you're gonna skip a part, skip this part. This is like the Bible with all of X begat.
Spit 'em out.
It's
Super
doing his
fast.
Game of Thrones style. We've got the Amathra. They're dealing horses, cattle, and weaponsmiths. Their motto is "We trample our troubles." Amargaster, they're wizards. They're land-based shipping. Their motto is "Nothing is beyond our grasp." Rosnar, once banished for smuggling and slavery, now legit. They're winemakers and gem traders.
Oh, hell's yeah.
Legit.
Their motto is "We fly high and stoop swift," which I have no idea what that means. But
It's a gay thing.
Stupid.
I don't know.
and Castle Lanterns, they're money lenders, and they deal in rumor mongering. And there wasn't one, so I made one up.
How do you deal in rumor mongering?
Their motto is "Heard anything interesting?"
It's just...
How do you make money off that?
You sell that information to somebody else.
Oh, there you go.
Knowledge is power, my friend.
That's what I got.
Remember
Okay.
that,
No, that's
those
good.
of you who have not played this.
So, since you'll be in Waterdeep and you live in the Forgotten Realms, you probably go by a certain time or a calendar. And Steve's got that, bringing us home with calendar, season, celebrations, weather, and weird stuff.
Stuff, if you don't write it down,
Stuff
you'll
that's
never
weird.
That's a
remember.
big-ass
Stuff
topic,
that's
man.
yeah, it is. Let me look up the so.
Wait,
If
there's a
you're
book?
new to I think
Don't you
there is.
remember all of it from being DM?
Hell
Isn't it just
no!
all
It was
right
it just everything goes in and then gets pushed out
Wait,
somewhere
that was
else,
Storm
like
King's
stick
Thunder. I have
something
no
else
idea.
in. I don't think this has a good calendar in it, does it?
Yeah, you were on the calendar page a minute ago.
No, these
go
are all
back
the.
the other way.
Oh, this way?
Well, no, you can just go there. The city celebrate.
Well,
That
that's the
kind of.
celebrations.
Yeah. Kind of breaks through the
Didn't
calendar.
we open
I
our
guess the-
campaign with a
I guess the-
celebration?
I had like the whole calendar going day by day
He
for you guys,
did.
but you ask me, it's like, what's the calendar? I don't know.
So I think the good thing
the
to
hell?
know is that a week is basically 10 days.
A week is, there's 3 10 days in a month. All the months are 30 days, which makes it easier. And there are a few inter-calendar days between months that
right?
don't
Which are the celebrations.
which
I
are the
understand.
celebration
Yeah.
days.
Is that like leap year?
That's a really good
Your
idea. These 3 days don't count.
Right? The Egyptians
Yeah.
used to do
Can you
that.
imagine
Oh
if
my
your
God.
work week was 10 days?
Yeah, but
is
every
that,
month you got 3 or 4
7
days that
days
just
on?
didn't matter.
Yeah. But one of the things about this is what season you play is really more important. And there are 4 seasons you can play in, and there are different villains and different plots happening for each different season. So theoretically, you could kind of play this 4 times, one each of the different seasons, and some things would be the same, but a lot of things would be different.
3 years later.
So that's what really kind of matters for this is which season you're in. There's, winter, spring, summer, fall. Of course, your DM may change things around. I did somewhat. So, but that's the big thing. And there are celebration days in Waterdeep all throughout the year. There are like a few pages of them, and I'm not going to go through them all. But I'll just hit a few. We played in summer, so I think we had. We started in Kythorn. Oh, we did Dragon Down. You guys did the
Yeah.
Dragon Down celebration, which is on Kythorn 20, and that's celebrated with bonfires and rituals. Its dragons are banned from Waterdeep, and this kind of celebrates when they kind of drove the dragons out of Waterdeep, and they're magically banned. So they burn effigies of dragons. There's a big parade through the streets, which you guys took part of.
That's right.
With big, dragon. You guys were working the little dragon puppet, like big long Chinese dragon type of thing. Ended up at Castle Waterdeep, and then they, burnt it. Big bonfire at Castle Waterdeep. So they actually took part of that. And the Flame Rule 1 is Founders Day, commemorating the birth of the city.
I love Flame. I love Flame. It's my favorite time of season.
Yes, I think Flame Rule's July. Basically, it's the equivalent.
And
of
my
July.
birthday's in Flame Roll, so that's why.
We'll get you a present.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The big 5-0, y'all.
Yeah?
I got a bag of flaming stuff I'll make sure I drop on your doorstep.
I don't want that. Doug.
I don't want that.
So yeah, there's Marpanoth 3 Day of Wonders Parade, which you guys dealt with those
Yeah.
guys somewhat, where they basically another big parade with all these weird gadgets they made and all sorts of puppets and crazy. It's like a day in celebrating invention and things like that. So there you'll run through. There's a lot of them, but the module kind of takes a while, and you're likely to experience some of these feast or celebration days in there.
Cool.
Yeah, the thing for your characters to know is that there's tons of festivals, and maybe you can take advantage of these things in your campaign. So
Yeah.
My character got a job
Now,
in one of these.
there you
I
go.
believe, right?
And I know Steve touched on a little bit about some of the dragon stuff, and that comes to our weird stuff, which one of it is, I think, the Dragon Ward is one of the things.
I feel like
we
you
got.
should be doing the weird stuff. I don't know
Oh,
why
no.
I feel like that.
No, he does the weird stuff. Don't worry.
right.
It's somebody else needs to
He
do
does
weird
it
stuff.
anyway.
He has his own weird stuff. Weird stuff?
Weird stuff. I don't know that I exactly
all
prepared
weird?
for weird stuff, because that was going to be
Well,
somebody else's
well,
stuff.
basically, I mean, so some of the weird things. Obviously, it's a fantasy setting, but your characters will know about this. Those Waterdavians that live there know that dragons really can't land or attack the city because there's an antipathy spell that's kind of around the city, and they get sick.
Yeah.
No, it's true. If you read your enchilada,
I didn't read the
thing that's in there,
enchilada.
it would tell you that. The other thing is, people know that there's something happening underneath the city, that there's a dungeon of some kind, but that's probably about as much as you're going to know about, and that's probably about it. You're going to know that there's some dwarves live there, there's some tunnels there, some old stuff.
Undermountain's, I think, fairly well known. I mean, you can even... It's well known how to get there.
Is it like the biggest-
That's
true.
You
You
can
go to the
in a
Yanni
bucket
portal.
down the
That's
well
true.
into
That's
Undermountain.
true.
It's
That's
like
true.
the biggest cell.
It is.
The whole.
Yeah, it is. It is a massive, massive dungeon under the city.
There's also a place you can go to, like, go
Odds
into a
are?
maze or something like that. I know that's what happened to us.
Like
A lot of the
corn-
city
like
knows
a
about
corn
this.
Maze?
No, it's not a corn maze. No.
It's a maze.
There's also a
it
big
amazing?
giant, I guess, bubble thingy that you can go into and float around and fly around. That
Like
happens once in a
the
while.
bubble elevator they had.
No,
in the
that's
Yeah.
the dance, the celebration where the moonlight hits that certain spot a couple
Yeah.
times a year.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
if you go in that spot,
People
it
jump
is
from
said,
buildings and stuff,
yeah,
and-
that if
yeah,
you're in
yeah.
that moonlight, that you can, and they actually have crafted dances around the people being in that
That's
moonlight, being
cool.
able to float and fly.
And it's weird.
Yes,
And it is falling in the
and it's
category
weird.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So I think any other weird stuff that you can think of? I think that's pretty much-
Automatons are weird.
I was going to name it miscellaneous, but I just said,
The purple
weird
shop.
stuff.
The purple shop.
Well,
Purple
there's
Shop's great.
The Waterdeep
Weird,
Vortex, where you go in. It's this old house. That's Oregon.
That's Oregon.
Oh, yes. Okay.
We're going there.
So I think that's
Awesome.
pretty much it. Can you guys think of anything else that your characters might want to know about, or they should know about, being characters that maybe perhaps live in Waterdeep or came to Waterdeep?
Save lots of cool stuff that you kill and put it in your inn.
Everything is really expensive. Get jobs and make money.
Yeah, immediately. This place
Get
is
a
tourist trap.
houseboy.
Get a houseboy.
He's so handy.
Barmy?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, does anyone have any real stuff that they want to
That's
share
real.
that's not spoilery or anything like that?
That wasn't
Anybody?
spoilery.
Anybody? Just want to make sure.
I don't know. Take your time, explore the city. You don't have to, like he said, you don't have to go adventuring right that second. I mean, get to know things around. Get to know some people. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to sit and talk. Unless your
Talk to
DM
the
has no
neighbors.
personality. Yeah, talk to your neighbors.
Talk to your neighbors.
Especially when you're like, hey, you want to go talk to your neighbors? Don't sit there and go, no. We're not going to go, like, check out the neighborhood
Yeah.
and talk to the neighbors. Go talk to the neighbors.
That's from the DM.
So-
you should probably
Yeah.
do that.
So play it like you really would. I mean, if you're going to visiting a new city, like, hey, I'm going to go visit New York or Chicago, check it out. Find out what's
People
going
in New
on.
York love it when you stop them to talk.
Especially when you go to the Dungeon Master of New York and ask him
That's right.
Who is the dungeon master
That's
of
right.
New York? Cool. Well, but hey, play this game.
Yeah, definitely play the game.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And
Yeah.
if you're a DM, have your players listen to this, because then that way you don't have to get mad at them when they don't read your stuff.
I mean, how long we took? What, 8 months? Now we play about 3 hours a night, once a week, and to get through one season, wasn't it about 8 months? And again, we check. By the way, we check every
I-
door for traps. We
I
are
heavily
the
padded.
worst.
Yeah.
When it
we
comes to
do,
that.
but upon listening to this and reading, prepping for this podcast, I kind of wish we would have done some other things. I mean, retrospect, it's always
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to a few more
I
people.
feel like we missed some kind of fun, cool things.
Yeah.
But
Well, again, there's a lot of fun, cool things in there.
That's
and
true too.
And we have
I-
3 more seasons. So
And and actually, if you look at if you're a DM, it will tell you, give the players, like the code legal, give the players the
so they can.
the
yeah,
guide to
you might
Waterdeep.
actually want to read
So
that.
You might want to read this, or
And-
have your players
Kinda
listen
helps.
to
And
this.
Caridion and Enchilada.
Yeah,
Oh.
we've been
Caridion.
joking that it's
Yeah.
called the enchilada, but it's not
How
the
is it-
enchilada.
how is it pronounced?
I have no
Is
idea.
it Encaridion?
And find that one
one
person in your
cares
party
how
that
it's
likes
pronounced
taking
except
notes.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are huge.
So
and
with-
critical.
Come on in, Tim.
So with that, I think we're going to end this podcast. But thank you so much for coming on board.
Thanks for inviting us.
guys.
Me.
So
Yeah.
take care.
Sorry we
and
didn't have the color break with the red.
And the next
shirts.
one will be the actual in-depth spoilery review of Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Yes.
So stay tuned for
With
that.
even more swearing.
That was pretty cool. That was awesome. I thought we were great.
We were awesome, right?
We do the best reviews and just recaps of things.
I know. I feel
amazing.
like I know everything. I feel like it's like I know Waterdeep like I know Seattle.
Yeah,
I feel like-
yeah,
I feel like that section on the wards was like the best. Don't you think?
It was okay.
it was all about this one word named Susan. I don't understand.
It's inside joke.
Yes, inside joke. But stay tuned for the next episode where we'll do a deeper dive, but that will have spoilers in it. So if you're gonna play it, you probably shouldn't listen to it. But if you want to cheat, well, I guess that's up to you.
Yeah.
We don't advocate that.
It's all about separating between what the character knows and what the player knows.
If your personal alignment in real life is chaotic evil, listen to it
watch
next
it,
week.
yeah.
I totally would listen to it.
Yeah, I know. You
Yeah.
would. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You know, you can currently cheat. Well, not in this campaign because he's running it, he's making it up.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and cheat in the ones that are pre-made.
Oh, good to know.
I think that's
However-
probably not a good idea.
However, in mine though, if you know the lore and know what you can know some
You
things
can study some lore.
because I do use all that information.
Oh,
Data's
Lord.
brother.
Yes, I remember.
Kind of a dick.
Yes.
So,
Speaking of Star Trek Next Generation.
yes. What nerdy things have you've been
Well,
doing?
I'm looking forward to season 3 of Jessica Jones.
Oh,
That's
yes,
coming
it's
out
so
real
great.
soon.
It's an end of an era though for
Yeah.
Netflix, but it makes me want to buy the Disney app. I guess.
I would watch Jessica Jones forever. I just love that character.
It is pretty cool.
She just doesn't care. Drinks whiskey all the time.
Yeah, I mean, how does she? I mean, you can only survive like that so long.
Well, unless you're super. She's
Yeah.
super.
Yeah, oh yeah, that.
I mean, I drink
I
a
forgot
lot, but
about
I don't
that.
drink like Jessica Jones.
I actually forgot because I haven't watched it in a while, and I thought her superpower was just her ability to just drink and have nothing
That's
else.
part of it.
Well, then that makes you a
forgot she's
superhero,
strong.
doesn't it?
I would.
Ridiculous?
Yes, I think it does. Jessica. Well,
for
it's
you.
coffee, but
All right. And guess what nerdy thing I get to do?
I don't know.
I am going to check out Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, really?
that's
That's,
cool.
that's great for you.
Yes.
Taking the family.
Taking the family.
Cool.
now,
Yeah.
now is that where the Harry Potterville and all
No,
that?
it's
Universal Studios.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm going there too.
Okay, are you gonna go there?
I'm going there.
Can you get me a Hufflepuff scarf?
I'll work on
It's
it.
okay. You have kids to worry about. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just go without.
Wow, you seem sad about that.
Well,
All right, well, we'll see what happens.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
But I was watching this YouTube video about Galaxy Edge, and you can go to their store and buy a lightsaber that they help you put together. $200.
Yeah. Oh, it's all. It's
Well,
all
it's a
about the money.
lightsaber.
It's crazy.
God, that's pretty good for a lightsaber. Shit's intense.
Cut bread with it.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Exactly.
Sure.
It's more than just a
It
weapon.
cauterizes as it cuts.
If
Flashlight.
you use a lightsaber to cut your cheese, doesn't it just melt the cheese?
Oh, that's great.
How often do you cut the
Use
cheese?
it with nachos? Oh, I'm doing it right now.
I thought that was just a boner.
Yeah. Oh, you must be watching Archer.
Archer. Phrasing.
Archer 1999. Love it?
Love it.
Like it or hate
I
it?
love it. Well, I didn't like last season.
I went
Yeah, that's weird.
On the
I
island
didn't-
with the.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
It took me a while to get used to that and why they were kind of doing that kind of thing, but I still like it. I think it's still well written. The humor just still cracks me up,
Yes.
and I like that Pam was big.
I'm gonna get a Pam tattoo.
I think that's something you'll never regret.
Let's all get Pam tattoos.
Pam tattoos, except.
And then post it on Facebook so everyone can see it.
Except maybe you shouldn't get a tattoo of another Pam.
I can have both Pams.
Both Pam tattoos.
So I think we can wrap it up.
I think we're done.
We're closing
We're
this
clearly
earlier
spent.
rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually don't. I guess we could.
Well, usually we have interviews and stuff in between and a third
We
thing.
do. Well, but the Waterdeep thing, man, that was long.
And, yeah, it's long.
But it's good. It's worth it.
Enjoy it.
Hope. Well, they already did. They
Sorry.
already did
Well,
enjoy it.
yeah, I'm passing through time again.
All right, so I think we'll just wrap this up because it's D&D night, so we got to
Yep.
do that.
Woohoo!
So with that, embrace the nerd, and I hope you make that saving throw.
Me too.
Oh!